You guys know that I've been criticizing Joe Biden since this channel's inception. You know, there are a lot of legitimate criticisms of Joe Biden. However, Ben Shapiro just did a reaction on Joe Biden's inauguration speech, and he gave about the dumbest criticism of Joe Biden and Barack Obama that I've ever heard. Let's listen to what he has to say.
You know, it's always a nice American moment when people swear fealty to the Constitution. It's been quite a while since literally anybody who has sworn fealty to the Constitution in a public office has then abided by the Constitution, but it's a nice idea anyway. So then Joe Biden gets up and he gives his inaugural address. And we all knew what the theme of the address was going to be. It was going to be unity. Now, it's pablum. I mean, most presidents get up there and talk about American unity. But this one, for the press particularly, had special resonance because, of course, he was replacing Donald Trump, who they see as the most polarizing and divisive president in American history. Now, it happens to be true that Donald Trump was not Captain Unity. He's not somebody who tended to bring somebody together. But we've heard empty promises of unity before. Namely, Joe Biden's president, when he was vice president, was Barack Obama, who spent years proclaiming that there are no states, no red states, no blue states, just the United States. It was Barack Obama who pledged that we were going to unify as Americans. We're going to see beyond race. It was a magical moment. When he was inaugurated, he had like 75% approval rating. Most Americans were like, wow, what a great moment. And then, by unity and hope and changiness, Barack Obama proceeded to mean identity politics, divvying up people by race, forming coalitions of the ascendant to silence half of America, calling the rest of America a bunch of bitter clingers and racists, foisting on Americans a bunch of giant government policy they really didn't like very much, and using the power of the pen and the phone to override all limitations on the executive branch. That's what he meant by unity. So before I start celebrating the newfound unity in Washington, D.C., I have to ask what the unity means, because it's had several definitions over the years. Unity could mean that we are all unified in spending your taxpayer money, which they are. It could mean that they actually wish for us to share some certain common values like the First Amendment, freedom of association, freedom of the press, the ability to dissent, freedom of religion. We leave each other alone. That'd be a nice kind of unity, right? That there is a certain diversity within unity. We acknowledge each other's rights and then we leave each other alone. Or they could mean by unity, shut the hell up and do what we want you to do, because that is unifying. And it turns out that unity exists in a wide variety of areas of life. It can exist in democracies. It can exist in dictatorships. It can exist in everything in between. So what exactly does Joe Biden mean by unity we still have to find out how he's going to define all of that.
Okay, so where do I even start? A friend of mine always jokes and says, oh, Ben Shapiro's a pseudo-intellectual. Like, he's a poor man's intellectual. Which, to be fair, that's not totally true. I do think Ben Shapiro is smart. As I said in videos before, I happen to disagree with him 70% of the time. But when I watch this clip, my brain cells wanted to explode, and I understand why people say that Ben Shapiro is a poor man's intellectual. Okay, so let's dive into this. He says unity sounds great. Unity sounds great. It always sounds like he's holding his nose when he talks. I'm sorry. I mean, I know he can't help the way he talks, but it doesn't make it any less annoying. Anyway, he says unity, yes. Oh, unity sounds really nice, but what type of unity? Is it unity like we should all come together and listen to each other, or is it do what I say? Because if it's do what I say and listen to me only, that is unifying. Dictators are unifying. So we're other things. But yeah, we don't know what Biden means by unity. And this is the same problem we had with Barack Obama. So with Ben, he thinks he's clever here. He's trying to frame Joe Biden and also Barack Obama as dictators. Dictators who don't listen to Republicans. That is the most ridiculous thing that I've ever heard in my life. Joe Biden basically is a Republican. The only difference between someone like Joe Biden and somebody like Mitt Romney is that Joe Biden doesn't hate the gays and he doesn't hate black people. And look, to be fair to Mitt Romney, I'm not saying he hates black people, but, I'm being a little cynical here, but basically, what are the other differences? Tell me any other differences besides the views on race and the views on sexuality. Give me a concrete difference. There really isn't one. I mean, of course there are nuances there between the policies that Romney would try to enforce and the ones that Biden. But is there anything between them that's so drastically different that it would affect the entire country in the grand scheme? No, there is not. He's a Bill Clinton style moderate Republican politician, and so was Barack Obama. Matter of fact, his critique of Obama was even worse. As he said, all Obama did was play identity politics and say, we should have a conversation. Listen to Ben Shapiro trying to impersonate anybody. It's just so funny because, his voice. All right, guys, I'm going to try to stay on topic here. So, yeah, but he's like, Obama. This is the problem with Obama. He said unity. But really, it was just listen to what Obama says. And then he says Obama was authoritarian and he did executive orders for everything. Give me a fucking break. Obama, an authoritarian. Obama did executive orders. Obama did less executive orders than Bush did and then Clinton did. So what are you talking about? Obama did so many executive orders? I wish he had done more executive orders. Obama famously said, I don't think that we can solve every problem by executive orders because that's overreaching my authority. So, yes, I could do certain things, but I'm not going to just circumvent the process. Of course, you got this guy. This is the guy that's an authoritarian dictator and that wants to unify everybody by force. You got to be kidding me. This is ridiculous. And Joe Biden, even more so. Joe Biden's like, yes, there are a couple bad Republicans, but they're nice Republicans. Yeah, nice Republicans. And they're just like us. I mean, we basically support the same policy. I mean, we have our differences. But these are good people. Good people. And this is the person you're going to say is not going to listen to Republicans. He's done nothing but listen to Republicans. I know that you probably watch a lot of Fox News and maybe The Blaze or whatever, but dude, Ben, have you tuned into MSNBC lately? CNN. It's nothing but Republicans telling Democrats how they should run things. It's John Kasich. You know how many times they've had Pat Toomey on CNN over the past 2 weeks? John Kasich, what's his name? Not Arling Specter, but he's a former senator from Pennsylvania. And I should know this because I believe he was my senator. I can't think of his name right now, but there's so many Republicans. Republicans are basically dictating how things are going to go in this country. Remember, Democrats say, hey, we should do $1,200 checks. And Republicans are like, well, I don't want to do checks. They're like, okay, how about 600? And now Joe Biden's already backing off of $2,000 checks. He said, we're going to send you 1,400. 1,400 plus 600 is 2,000. Yay. Are you kidding me? These are authoritarian dictator people that are going to unite us by force. Because that's what you're implying, man. You won't come out and say it, but that's what you're implying. And it's ridiculous. And he knows what he's doing. He's stoking up the Trump base. He's trying to play both sides. I am a proper Republican. I do not support storming the Capitol. I'm not QAnon. All those things are ridiculous. But at the same time, though, the Democrats do want to authoritatively use their power. What are you going to do about that, guys? It's ridiculous. He knows what he's doing. He's playing up to a base. That's it. He doesn't actually believe. He can't actually believe. If he actually believed this about Biden, I really will start to question his intelligence. Do you even pay attention to what Biden says? It's so ridiculous, man. And also another thing he does there is I didn't put that clip in, but I didn't put the clip in, but he says, and they called Kamala Harris, Camilla, and they got her name wrong in the swearing in. But apparently, if Tucker Carlson does that, he's racist. And then he talks about identity politics. Oh, Obama, all he did play. You're playing identity politics. You're just doing it in a different way. Like, it's funny, like, it's like Ben Shapiro almost brings up race as much as like CNN or MSNBC. Oh, and finally, I wanted to address this before I end this segment. He says, he criticized Joe Biden. He said Joe Biden says Americans are bad. There are some bad Americans. And that they're the problem. And then he goes on to pretend that those people aren't the problem. The problem is just we're different. No, Ben. Yes, that's true that we are different. But there is a big problem with people being racist, homophobic, xenophobic, and anti-Semitic. And you're a Jew. You've received a lot of this treatment and you still pretend that this is not a problem. In case you haven't realized, there's been more violence by right-wing extremist groups now than there has been over the past 20 years. Matter of fact, what's going on right now is comparable to the 1990s. Which is funny because back then we had Bill Clinton, which was basically a moderate Republican, and now we have Joe Biden, who's a Bill Clinton-esque moderate Republican. You know? And it's ridiculous. We're watching this unfold. We're watching people beat up Muslims and say, this is our country. We watched a white man go shoot up a church full of black people. We've seen people parade around the Capitol, storming it with Confederate